Um, my name is Stanley Ngambi, and I'll be taking you through biology form 2, topic 2, and we are going to discuss about plant biology. I remember you learned about the investigative skills. Now we are supposed to talk about the plant biology, is our second topic. Now, under this plant biology, it has 5 parts, but for today we are going to discuss about the first part. Success criteria. What students are supposed to know by the end of this topic or lesson. So by the end of this topic, you should be able to uh, describe the structure and the functions of plants. Should be able to describe the structure and the functions of plants. Describe the process of photosynthesis. You should also be able to describe the process of photosynthesis, how photosynthesis takes place. So let's get started. So the external and the internal structure of plants vary from plant to plant. So if you can see from different plants, each have got different parts, be it stems, roots, leaves, and the flowers. So we are able to observe these changes in or differences in plants. So the external and internal structure of plants, they vary from plant to plant. The following observable features are most commonly seen in all plants. They have, so you can observe or you can see these features in different plants, and you are able to differentiate that this is this plant and this is this plant based on the features they have. The first one is leaves. So leaves, they differ from plant to plants. The second one is stems. So different plants have got different stems. And the same applies to roots. They have different roots, and again they have different flowers. So let's now discuss about the structure of a leaf. The structure of a leaf. So we'll start with the external structure of a leaf. So what are you supposed to know about the external structure of a leaf? So generally, a leaf has a leaf blade called lamina. They have a leaf blade called lamina, and a stalk or petiole, or leaf stalk or petiole, as shown below. So let's see the external structure of a leaf. So if you can see on this diagram, you have the apex, you have the leaf blade, the leaf margin, and you have the lamina, you have the midrib, you have the leaf vein, and you have the petiole. So these are the external parts of the leaf. So you can look here on this leaf. So from this leaf, you are having, start from here, you have this pointed, this one is known as a leaf stalk or a petiole. A leaf stalk or a petiole. Then from here you have this one is known as a leaf margin. The leaf margin. Then going through the leaf, you have this one. This one is known as the main vein. This one is known as the main vein, or looking at here, this one is the main vein, or the midrib. The main vein is also known as the midrib. So we have again the small veins which are attached to the what? To the midrib. These ones are known as the leaf vein or small vein, leaf vein. Now the spaces here we are having these spaces that are known as the leaf blade or lamina. Leaf blade or lamina, these spaces. Now we are having here, we shall learn about the apex. We have the rounded and the other one is pointed. Maybe I can show you from the other leaf. We have this one as a pointed what? Apex. A leaf with a pointed apex, and this one we can consider it as a rounded apex. Now from here, this one is we can take as the apex. Then we have talked of the leaf margin, the lamina, the small veins, and the petiole. So you should be familiar with these parts of the external parts of the leaf. So the petiole, the leaf attaches to the stem through the petiole, by the petiole. So this one is the one which gets attached to the stem of the plant. So some plants like maize have no petiole. Some plants like maize have no petiole. So for those who are familiar with maize, I think all of us, we are familiar with maize leaves. They just go through, they don't have what? The apex. So we'll see how they are attached to the what? To the stem. So their leaf blades, that is of maize, are directly attached to the stem, directly attached to the stem by a modified part of the leaf blade called a sheath. So it has a sheath which gets attached to the what? To the stem of the plant. So leaves are a part of a shoot. Leaves are a part of a shoot. They are held on the stem at the parts called the nodes. So these leaves, the petiole, they attach to the stem at a node. So they are held on the stem at the parts called the nodes. Now, upon discussing about the external structures of the leaf, I hope you are familiar with all the parts of the leaf. Now, let's discuss about the internal structure of a leaf. So, the internal structure of a leaf is composed of the following. So, we have got different parts of the internal structure of the leaf. So, the first one we have to look at is the cuticle. So the cuticle, as you see here, it is found on the upper of the leaf. Then just beneath the cuticle, we have the upper epidermis. Then below the upper epidermis, we have the parasite cells. The whole of this one is parasite cells. Then below the parasite cells, we have the sponge mesophyll. The whole of this one is sponge mesophyll, but inside the sponge mesophyll we have got what? The vascular bundles. So under the vascular bundles we have two bundles, vascular tissues, which are the xylem and the phloem. So as you see here, we have the xylem here and the phloem one here. So below here we have the lower epidermis, as we have the upper epidermis there, and below there we have again the upper the lower epidermis and the spongy mesophyll cells here. Then we have the stomate or stomata. So it is here, and this stomata, besides it, they have what? The guide cells. So the stomata here seems as it's closed, and here is open. So this is stomata. So on the spongy mesophyll, we have these spaces, air spaces. Okay, so they also play a part as far as the function of the leaf is concerned. Now let's discuss about the functions of these internal parts of the leaf. We'll start with the cuticle. So it is a thin waxy layer. It is a thin waxy layer found on both the upper and the lower surfaces of the leaf. That is a cuticle. It is found on the upper and on the lower part of the leaf. So it is transparent to allow light into the leaf. So it is transparent to allow light into the leaf. You remember, light is necessary for photosynthesis. So the function of the leaf being to carry out or to manufacture food, there must be a way light has to be allowed into the leaf. So it is through this transparent cuticle that's how light enters into the what? Into the leaf. So it prevents the function of the cuticle. It prevents excess loss of water from the leaf. So it allows light to get into, and it prevents excessive loss of water into the leaf. It also protects the leaf from attack by pests. So it is found on the upper and the lower surface, being the wax layer. So it protects or prevents the leaf from being attacked by the pests. So the second part, we have the epidermis. So this is the tissue that covers the surface of the leaf for protection. This also plays a part of protection. It covers the upper and even the lower surface of the leaf. So that is about the epidermis. The epidermis is covered by a coat called cuticle in some leaves. So in some leaves, it is covered by the cuticle. So cells in epidermis have no chloroplast. Cells in epidermis have no chloroplast, meaning a chloroplast is a place where photosynthesis takes place. So that shows that in epidermis, photosynthesis does not take place due to absence of what? Chloroplasts. The other part is the parasite tissue. Parasite tissue. So we have the cuticle, we have the upper epidermis, and below there we have the parasite tissue. So what is it all about, the parasite tissue? It is found beneath the upper epidermis. So it is found beneath the upper epidermis. It contains chloroplasts that are involved in photosynthesis. So you can look in the internal parts of the leaf where there is a parasite. You observe that there are a lot of chloroplasts in the in those parasite tissues. So these chloroplasts are important in what? In carrying out photosynthesis. They are cylindrical in shape. So these parasite tissue are cylindrical in shape. Just below the parasite tissue, we have the spongy mesophyll. Spongy mesophyll. So it is made of cells that store water in the leaf. So in the spongy mesophyll, you find water stored there because they have got cells that are able to store water in the spongy mesophyll. So the cells are irregular in shape, leaving air spaces in between them. So if you can see the spaces in the spongy mesophyll due to irregularity in shape, that's why there is creation of these spaces. So that helps in what? Air circulation in the spongy mesophyll. They contain chloroplasts for photosynthesis, meaning in the spongy mesophyll, photosynthesis also takes place. Let's talk of the guard cells. The guard cells. At the time I was explaining about the stomata, I said beside the stomata, there are what? Guide cells. So these are the cells which they open and they close the stomata. So they are found in between the epidermal cells. The guide cells are found in between the epidermal cells. They have spaces in between them called stomata. So in those spaces, that is stomata, we are going to see how stomata carries out its functions, but it is guided by these guide cells. So the stomata are involved in gaseous exchange and elimination of excess water from the leaf. They are involved in gaseous exchange and the elimination of excess water from the leaf. That is, when it is opened, they allow gases to exchange and the excess water to be eliminated. So that is about the stomata. They have chloroplasts for photosynthesis. These guide cells, they also contain chloroplasts, meaning in the guide cells, photosynthesis also takes place. So let's see the diagram of the stomata. So stomata are pores within guide cells. Now those space or the pores within the guide cells, they are found on both upper and the lower leaf epidermis. Okay, so you can find these stomata on the upper of the leaf and the lower parts of the leaf. What are the functions of these stomata? They allow entry of carbon dioxide during photosynthesis. So as we'll be learning about more about photosynthesis, carbon dioxide is one of the raw materials for food to be made in the leaves. So it is through these stomata where carbon dioxide gets into the leaf. So this is the stomata. This is the stomata, and these are the guide cells. So they are able to close. They are able to open. So as you can see, there inside these guide cells, we have the stomata. Hence, they are able to carry out what? The process of photosynthesis. The other functions of the stomata is they also allow elimination of oxygen during the day and the carbon dioxide during the night. So these stomata, once they open, they are able to eliminate oxygen during the day and the carbon dioxide during the night. This oxygen is after photosynthesis has been taken place, so oxygen has to be released as a byproduct. Stomata also eliminate water from the leaf through a process called transpiration. So leaves or plants also lose water from plant leaves through the process of transpiration. So stomata, it is through stomata where water is being eliminated from the leaves into the atmosphere. The veins. I talked of the cuticle, the upper epidermis, the parasite. Just below the parasites, there we have got the vascular bundles. So in the vascular bundles, we have got these are the veins. The veins and the mediums, they contain these what? Vascular bundles. So these vascular bundles, we have got two. We have the xylem and the phloem. So they play also a part in the leaf. So these are tissues that are involved in transport of substances to and from the leaf. So they are able to transport different substances to and from the leaves. They contain phloem and xylem tissues. So when we are talking of the bundles, we talk of the phloem and the xylem tissues. Then what are the functions of these phloem and xylem tissues? So phloem tissues transport food substances away from the leaves. So once food is being made in the leaves, that is the phloems, they transport this food from the leaves and gives to other parts of the plant. While the xylem tissues transport water to the leaves. So once water has been absorbed, they are able to be transported to different parts of the plants and to the leaves through the xylem tissues. Now let's talk of the chloroplast. So I explained to say that chloroplast is one of the place where it's a place where photosynthesis takes place. So let's discuss more about this one. So they are oval-shaped organelles in the leaf. That they carry out a special function in the leaf. So chloroplasts have a double membrane and are responsible for photosynthesis in plants. They are a double membrane. They are responsible for carrying out photosynthesis in plants. So let's talk and see the internal structure of the chloroplast. The internal structure of the chloroplast. So chloroplasts have grana. They have grana, if you can see in this diagram. So grana singular is granum. Singular is granum here. Okay, so which trap light energy from the sun. So the function of this grana is to trap sunlight energy from what? From the sun. You understand that sunlight or light is necessary for photosynthesis. So these chloroplasts, they have photosynthetic enzymes inside the stroma for photosynthesis. So here inside the stroma, the photosynthetic enzymes, okay, which they help to carry out the process of what? Photosynthesis. So this is the diagram that shows the parts of the internal chloroplast. So we have the starch granule, and we have the glycogen, we have the lamellae, the granum, and the stroma. So this one is the internal structure of chloroplast. So you are supposed to be familiar with it. And more especially, you need to know the function of the chloroplast. So this is the end of our discussions today, our lesson. But before I finish, you are supposed to watch this summary of a video clip of what we have learned. Now, from what we have discussed, we expect students should be able to explain or to understand or be able to answer these questions. So, students should be able to name the part of the leaf where photosynthesis takes place. Name the part of the leaf where photosynthesis takes place. And they should be also able to with the aid of a diagram, draw and name any three external parts of the leaf. So you should be able to answer that, to draw the diagram and label the parts. So the other question is, what is the functional difference between xylem and phloem tissues? What is the functional difference between xylem and phloem tissues? So you should be able to answer this question. Mention any two functions of cuticle in a leaf. So I need you should be able to mention just two functions of the cuticle in a leaf. And the last one should be able to explain any two functions of stomata. Should be able to explain any two functions of stomata. So, so for today we have discussed about the external and the internal structure of the leaf. Upon answering those questions, meaning understand you have knowledge about that. Now, the next lesson shall be, or we shall discuss about the modified leaves and their functions. We are still dealing with a leaf, but in this in our next lessons we will talk more about the modified leaves and their functions. So for today I say thank you and goodbye.